Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. At the outset, I thank Mr. Madan Gopal, the Indian Consul General at Erbil, for having created this opportunity, and to Dr. Nori Chavez, the conference president, for having invited me to present the keynote at your international conference at Erbil. Due to certain unfortunate situations, I am not able to be physically present, and I apologize for the same. Medical education in developing countries, the modern system that we call in medical education, which is adopted by most of the developing countries, is not our original baby. It has been transplanted from the West. It does not fit our national requirements, but we have continued with it all along. Students, by this, are pushed into a dilemma between education and livelihood. What we teach them in the college is far, far different than what they need for their daily livelihood in medical practice. A worldly wisdom I've heard is to learn from your own mistake, you are being wise. But to learn and benefit from the other's mistake, you're going beyond, you're going to be brilliant. And that is the purpose of this presentation. I come from a friendly country, India, which enjoys the maximum number of medical institutions, 751 medical schools out of 2,800 in the world, which is almost around 27%. This is a statistics from the World Directory of Medical Schools. We have the highest number of medical graduates who are passed out to the community to serve annually, nearly around 90,000 graduates. And we also have the highest number of specialists and super specialists as clinicians, who are in the range of around 62,000 annually. Apart from this, in the modern system of medicine, we have our own Ayush, which is Ayurvedic, Unani, Yoga, Siddha, the traditional system, which also have a sizable number, which are nearly equal to that number of the medical schools. But the system that we have adopted in India all these years is one single policy of evaluating a student for his fitness to have medical education. As Einstein had said, if we say that everybody is going to be tested on their skill of climbing a tree, a fish and an elephant will feel a lot different. And that's what we have done to our students in developing countries. The major drawbacks in the Western system is there is no assessment of aptitude, of the personality, the dedication of the candidates who seek medical education. I'm reminded of the good old Edinburgh Declaration, which laid a lot of emphasis on assessing the humane nature of a candidate seeking medical education. Social accountability of medical schools has never ever been an issue questioned by governments. We have not made attempts to turn our medical education into a community-centric effort. All our teaching of undergraduates and postgraduates is in tertiary hospital, where they cannot talk these days about an ordinary fever or illness without the backup of a battery of investigation and tests. Very little focus is done to create a physician of first contact, which is the need of developing countries. We do need specialists, but not in numbers to override the necessity of developing undergraduates. Medical graduates from India have flourished all over the world. They form about nearly 30% of doctors in North America, Canada, UK, and Australia. They have contributed to the development of medical devices and patents. Bulk of the doctors engaged in the Gulf region are also from India. But what has happened to the story back home in India? Some soul searching facts. India, with a population of 1.4 billion plus, has a land area of 2.4% of the world land area to support this population. The dubious highlights, despite the number of medical schools being so high, is immunization failure of oral vaccine is at 11%, and of diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus vaccine is at near 20%. Maternal deaths even now is close to 10 for the 10,000 deliveries. Infant mortality in the range of 30 per thousand births. Deaths due to malaria is around 20,000 per annum in the country. And tuberculosis cases even now is around 37 to 40 out of a 100,000 population. And leprosy cases, the new cases, 60% of the cases in the whole world is in India. Leprosy, a preventable bacterial infection. And nearly 10 lakh children die before their first birthday. I'm sure if anyone makes an attempt to find these similar statistics in your region, you will be very close to what is happening in India. The major focus is on anatomy, physiology, and all that. I did learn from your president of the conference that you have adopted the spiral method. That is only a method of delivery. I am questioning the content delivery. We even now teach about a few nutritive values of fruits, vegetables, when the whole world is working on therapeutic values of fruits, vegetables, and indigenous material available. The ignorance on local traditions. We have adamantly avoided local health traditions and incorporating them into our medical practice. We have not gone deeper to identify the missing role of micronutrients, phytochemicals, anthocyanins, and so on. The non-communicable diseases, diabetes, hypertension, stroke, and cardiovascular disease still are on the increase in our country. I had an opportunity to work a little in the Gulf, and I realized that the foremost disease that presents in daily practice is hamamalathia or brucellosis. Very little is taught in the medical curriculum about it. The other glaring finding in the country of Yemen, where they have the habit of chewing the cud, surprisingly, the country has a very, very low incidence of diabetes despite lifestyle of Pepsi Cola, Coca Colas being as much more there as in other places. One third of cancers are preventable with diet and lifestyle changes. Have we made attempt to reach this message or teach this to our population? We have a National Institute of Nutrition. They make an enormous effort to do some research papers, publish it, and there ends the story. All efforts stop, minimal effort to reach out to the community. Doctors are very happy. Some publication is achieved. Not more than 3% of the curriculum is focusing on these aspects of nutrition as therapeutic and preventable agents. The way medicine is practiced today, ladies and gentlemen, is a regrettable factor, what I call carb divert attitude. Refer to a dietitian, a nutrition at the hospital, and I refer to the neighboring department. Who is to take the responsibility to educate the community. Our curriculum is overloaded, overcrowded. Static curriculum which needs to address the need of the physician. We have not made an effort to utilize the human resource enrolled in 730 medical colleges to educate and empower the community. You will have to focus on that. And we have ignored malnutrition. It's a bomb waiting to explode. Malnutrition report of UNICEF says 18.7% highest child wasting rate live in India. It's a global hunger index of 2023. Anemia, which is so easily preventable, affects 52% of children under the age of 3, 53% of adolescent girls, and 37% of pregnant women. This is WHO data. So it's not enough to say we have 700 plus medical colleges and nearly a lakh medical graduates. If you don't know how to use, you will never find your resources enough to serve the community. Where to proceed in customization? Identify and address the local health needs, the prevalent disease, the public health issue, the health delivery challenges that you face. Understand the limitations of your resources, the constraints. It may be infrastructure, maybe personnel. Overnight, you can't get enough personnel. How to use the telecommunication system. And when you approach the community to education, only the local person can do well because of the cultural sensitivity factor, what we call cultural dissonance. This has to be incorporated during training of a medical graduate. Over-reliance of the on pharmaceuticals has resulted in what is called as evidence-based medicine. No, sir, they have crossed the limit. I call it evidence-burdened medicine. Innovation and adaptation to meet local needs. It needs to be emphasized at every stage of medical training. Sustainability to build the local capacity and expertise rather depend on outside sources. Bring relevant changes into the curriculum. Let your content delivery be the same spiral system. The content needs to be customized. Emphasis should be on interdisciplinary exposure, training. Like if comes to a question of giddiness, it is not necessarily a neurological problem. It may be hypoglycemia, starting to a hypertensive spike, or maybe an ENT disorder, something in the ear. Teach them relevantly to approach so that they treat a patient holistically. Reorient the faculty to adopt inter and intradisciplinary research. The most difficult thing in customizing is to make the faculty change the way they have learned. Ensure community engagement and empowerment. There's a process which is now given the name active learning. Not medical teaching need not be essentially in lecture classes. Discussions, problem-based learning, problem-solving ability has to be developed, case studies, and hands-on learning. Identify the individual learning paths to serve the server. What the Western student can pick up need not be the style to be pushed down the throat of your students. Collaborative learning, peer learning, the importance of teamwork and interdisciplinary as I went. Technology integration is very critical to overcome the resource handicap in developing countries. Simulations, Telemedicine should be actively used. And lifelong skill learning should be an attitude developed in young medical graduates. And your educators should be given mentorship support. To summarize in short, developing countries need to realize that the real wealth is in your people, and in their empowerment lies the future. Educational restructuring is the need to make our societies be served usefully. And any nation dreaming to be developed should use the human resource judiciously and convert it into a national asset. I've heard it from my teachers, to be what we are and to become what we are capable of becoming is the only target or end in life. Thank you for this opportunity. God bless us all.